A lot of students lose points on the Duolingo English test because they don't understand the writing questions well enough, and you don't want that to be you. So in this video, we're going to talk about the two different writing questions on the Duolingo English test. And of course, I'm going to give you a bunch of tips to help you score better when you take your own exam. But before we start, if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm teacher Luke from DETready.com. Visit our website to find more information about the Duolingo English test and lots of tools to help you prepare. The first writing question you'll get on the Duolingo English test is write about the photo. On the test, it looks like this. Here you have 1 minute to write at least one sentence about the photo. And you've got to do this difficult question 3 times on the test. In my opinion, it's probably the hardest question on this whole exam because, like I said, you only have 1 minute to write an answer. That's incredibly short. And because you only have 1 minute, I see a lot of students making the same mistake when they're writing their answer for this question type. And the mistake they make often is that they simply just label the photo rather than actually describing it. When you're writing your own answers for this question type, you don't want to just label, you want to describe fully. But what do I mean by labeling? Well, let me show you some examples here. Okay, so this is a photo, and this is what I mean by labeling. The student wrote, I can see 6 men. There is a TV and a computer. Also, I can see a sofa. So of course, this is not good enough. This is not a description. This is just a label. Instead, you want to try to go beyond labeling the items you can see, and you can describe what could be happening in the image, which can help you to tell a better story. Okay, now let's take a look at a good answer. This student wrote, this is a picture of a man giving a presentation at work. He's holding something in his right hand and talking to the 3 men who are sitting directly in front of him. So as you could see in those examples, I was not just labeling the photo, I was instead describing what I saw, and I was able to write 2, maybe 3 sentences using that structure. I highly recommend you try this when you take the test because, like I said, it will allow you to write more, which is really important to get a good score. If you want to study this structure in a lot more detail, you should check out my writing course. It's below in the description. The second writing question on the Duolingo English test is called Read Then Write. It looks like this on the test. Here you have to read a prompt or a question and write at least 50 words about that prompt or question. And you have to do that in 5 minutes. Those 5 minutes also include preparation time, so it's not much time at all. And although this question type is really hard because you only have 5 minutes, you can do it well if you understand what you've got to do. You really need to start typing as soon as you read the prompt. And I'll show you a simple structure you can use for answering this question in 1 second. But first, let's talk about the different topics you might get for this writing question. So there are 2 broad categories of topics you'll get. The first category is about yourself. So you might be asked to describe different situations about your life. For example, describe a time you were surprised. This is called a recount paragraph. And here you're expected to write about your own experiences. The second category of topic is more about relevant and current issues. Things like the environment, technology, or business. For this category, you're expected to read the question carefully and respond with your ideas about those topics. There are so many different topics you might get for this test, so it's really hard to prepare beforehand. You just have to write about your ideas using your best English possible. Now let's think about how you're scored, the criteria Duolingo are using to assess your writing. Let's take a look here. When you go onto the Duolingo English Test website, you can find this information. They actually show you what the criteria is for the extended speaking and writing tasks, which all contribute towards your production score. As you can see, the production questions are marked based on these elements: grammatical accuracy, grammatical complexity, lexical sophistication, lexical diversity, task relevance, length, fluency, and acoustic features. Some of these words are tricky. Lexical basically means vocabulary, and acoustic features means pronunciation. So based on the criteria I just showed you, this is what you must do to get a good score for this writing question. First, you must understand and then answer the prompt directly. Next, you want to write between 50 and 100 words. but I recommend you get closer to the 100-word mark. And then you need to use a range of grammatical structures, some simple and some complex. If you want to learn about complex sentences, you should check the video below in the description. Next, you want to use lots of topic-related vocabulary. So for example, if your topic is about the environment, then a lot of the words you're using in your answer should be closely related to the environment. Things like climate change, pollution, these kind of words. And lastly, you need to organize your answer well. A good answer will have a topic sentence, a body, and a concluding sentence. This is how you can logically structure and organize your paragraph, and you can do that in 5 minutes. This is the structure I teach my students, so let me show you how it's done here. Okay, so a topic sentence could be something simple like this. I agree that children should be banned from eating fast food at school for 2 important reasons. First, fast food is detrimental to children's health. Okay, that's a good supporting idea, but of course it's not enough just by itself. Now I need to provide an example or a reason. I've gone with an example. For instance, fast food is often packed with fat, sugar, and other preservatives, which makes them extremely unhealthy for children. Okay, so concluding sentences are pretty simple. You basically restate the introduction, and this is what I wrote. To conclude, for the reasons discussed above, I believe it is vital that schools stop serving fast food to their students. Okay, now you need to practice some of these writing questions, so I recommend you watch this video here. I'll see you there. Bye.